Hello and welcome back to another episode of CharlaFootball. I'm your host, as always, Jerry, accompanied by Tomas. We've been gone for a few days. We've been trying to figure some stuff out with the account. Unfortunately, we got hacked into and we weren't able to recover the account. But the show must go on. Euros is still going on. We got 2 weeks. We just saw the semifinals between France and Spain, and Spain are into the final, bro. But first, before we get into it, how are you doing? And then what are your thoughts on what we just saw?
I mean, it was pretty much what I expected to see. What I didn't expect to happen was France to score. That's the only part that I'd say maybe they could have scored, but not in the way that they did, which was an open play, which is something that
Yeah.
hasn't happened this whole tournament. And obviously it did, and all of a sudden everybody thought that France was back or something. But I just knew Spain was going to take it. I mean, France is subpar to who they've shown to be in these two past World Cups, but
Yeah.
that's pretty
On
much my take.
on the day, like what you said is that you were surprised that they scored an open play. I was surprised too, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like they finally scored an open play. Mbappe involved in that assist, giving it to Colomwani, and Colomwani finally putting the ball behind in the back of the net. And you just probably kind of thought. I mean, I thought myself, I was like, "Oh, maybe France have finally woken up. Maybe they are going to start to take it more serious. They're going to try to put a little bit more pressure going forward." And it looked like it a little bit throughout the first half. And once they got that first goal from the first 15, and within the first like 15 minutes, it was kind of all France. But then Spain quickly reacted. I think that first goal definitely gave them a wake up call to really step their game up. You have to remember they were missing Dani Carvajal, they were missing Lenormand at center back as well. So they had Aymeric Laporte and Nacho as their two starting center backs who haven't played together all tournament, and then uh, Navas as well. Navas was playing right back, and he's a solid player. I wouldn't knock him down, but I wouldn't say that he's better than Carvajal. Carvajal is one of the best right backs in the world, and he has 5 years of youth on him as well. Because Navas is 38. I think he's the oldest player to debut for Spain in a Euro or a World Cup too. So, and he's one of the only players that still is from the 2010 team that is still playing for Spain right now, I believe.
I mean,
So it. What did you
yeah,
say?
the thing with Navas is that he does have the experience, but he is much older than a lot of these players.
Yeah, you kind of got the sense that he was a little nervous. I felt like he was because it was his first game starting. He has played already throughout the tournament, but it was his first game starting. And when you're starting against the likes of Mbappe and then Kolo Muani running in behind you, and I mean Dembele on the other side, I'm sure there's a little bit of and it's, I mean especially when you're marking Mbappe, one of the best players in the world who hasn't really shown it this tournament. I mean we saw what he did to him in that first half, at least the first 15, 20 minutes. I
Yeah,
mean he had him all up, all like he had him freaking out basically. Eventually he found his footing and he got more comfortable throughout the game as the game went on. But yeah, those first 20 minutes were very shaky from Spain, but then they settled into the game, of course. And I mean, we saw what Lamine Yamal did, we saw what Dani Olmo did, and I mean, bro, I don't even know where to start with the kid. I mean, he's 16 years old. He turned 17 this Saturday, and he just completely carried Spain, especially in that first half. I guess specifically that first half. But what he did was not normal. This kid is not normal. At 16 years old, like I don't remember the last time there was such hype around a 16-year-old. Maybe when Neymar was coming up, when I think he was like 16, 17 coming in
mm,
from Santos. But
Messi
uh,
probably.
Messi too, but I don't think the hype around Messi was as big as it is now because Messi wasn't getting the same playing time that Lamine Yamal is getting this season because he's already. I mean, Messi had to break through a team where you had Samuel Eto'o, Ronaldinho, and right now Barcelona are still kind of in construction, I guess you can say. And I mean, he's one of the more important players in that Barcelona team. And then for Spain, I mean, he's an undisputed starter. And on the day, I mean, his goal that I think it was the equalizer, right?
Yeah, it was a equalizer 1-1.
Yeah, that was
Assist.
fucking insane, bro. Top bins over one of the best goalkeepers this tournament in Mike Magnan, 29-year-old he's done pretty well this tournament, like I said, and he's done wonderful things for AC Milan as well. And he just gets it past him. There was no way for him to save that. But I mean, just on the topic of Lamine Yamal, it's just an insane talent, bro. What do you think of him?
I mean, he's incredible. To be honest, I didn't. I've known he's been good, but I didn't expect him to perform this well in a competition like the Euro.
Hmm.
I did not expect him to score in semifinal versus France. I didn't expect him to do all these things, but I mean, he has. And now that he has, I can say that he's just one of the best players in the world. Period. Not even the youngster players. He's just one of the best players, like in general.
Yeah. Would you? I saw a little bit of debate saying that is he world class already? I mean, he is just 16 years old, but is it fair to call him world class?
Um, that's a good question because for me, world class is Ronaldo, Messi. Who would be Neymar at one point? Oh, Neymar, yeah.
Even now, I mean, even though he's
Even
injured.
even even the prior to his injury. Um, but then there is players like Eden Hazard who, in instances, have been called world class, but for me, they weren't because they just didn't have longevity. So I'd say he's one of the best players in the moment, but not yet world class.
Yeah, so he would need a little bit more longevity to be considered world
Yeah,
class in your eyes, basically.
yeah. For me at least.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from regarding that because I do agree. In the moment, in this moment, he's one of the best players in the world. Just like in his moment, Mbappe was one of the best players in the world. He went into the tournament as one of the best players, but I mean, I feel like his market has kind of gone down throughout this tournament. I mean, he did get the assist today, but I mean, he was pretty quiet. He also had that one opportunity to tie the game. He think he had that 1v1 against Vivian or Nacho, one of the two center back pairings. I think it was Vivian. And he cuts in inside, and it's one of those positions that Mbappe loves. You know, he loves to cut in from a wide spot, cut inside, and then he'll look for that near post. And in doing so, he just blasts it over the post, and it's just unlike him, unlike Mbappe. And you can see in the French fans' faces, they were almost surprised. Some of them had their hands over their head, like they've already lost the game. Their best player in one of the positions where he's the most comfortable in, and one of the positions where he's the deadliest in, cutting in from the left into the middle, and just completely rockets it. It's like his bread and butter, essentially. And on the day, I mean, he looked average pretty much besides his assist. So I mean, you got to feel for the French fans. They're probably from that moment he missed that shot, they're probably like, "Oh, that's game over." And there's no way. If our best player isn't on his A game, then how are we gonna win this game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you were saying, once he cut in, I thought, man, this guy's about to like do a rocket like bottom left or bottom right. He's gonna score. Like he's gonna score because we've been so used to seeing this. We saw it versus in the semifinal versus what was it, Morocco. We just seen it so many times from him, but the fact that it didn't happen, I at that point just said it's lost. Because if a miracle from an individual player like Mbappe can't save you, then what is going to save you at that point?
Yeah,
So it's
and it's unfortunate because overall his supporting cast wasn't there today. I mean, Dembele was very quiet overall. Colomwani, besides his goal, didn't do much, and the substitutes didn't help as much either. Camavinga, Antoine Griezmann, Giroud, in the last 20, 30 minutes of the game, there was really nothing from France going forward besides maybe, like I said, that one opportunity that Mbappe had. I think that doesn't. I think that mainly just shows the solidarity that the Spain team has, having missed two of their main starters in Lenormand and Dani Carvajal and Pedri as well. Because remember, Dani almost not a starter for this team technically. Um, I think that team
we should be
spirit, that
though.
cohesive unit that they have. What's up?
I said, oh no, I just said like he should be like Daniel almost should be a starter.
Oh yeah, I think over Pedri right now for sure. Pedri's not in his best moment, but like I said, it's just overall, I think Spain were the better team, and they showed that on the day. I mean, going down 1-0, and then within 10 minutes, just flipping the switch and like, okay, no, you're not. You guys are not going to beat us today. Putting two goals behind them real quick, like it was nothing. Those first 45 minutes, I thought we were in shape to see one of the best games of the tournament. I think the second half definitely let us down a little bit. I would have liked to see a France goal just to spice things up and maybe take things to extra time, make it a little bit more dramatic. But Spain had everything pretty much under control. Defensively, extremely solid. They weren't really getting penetrated besides that one chance. Um, Going forward, they were still a threat. When you have Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal on the right side, you will always be direct. You will always be threatening, and that's one of my favorite things about the Spain team. There's like a directness to them that we haven't seen from them in a while, probably since David Villa and Pedro and Iniesta. Um, and it's not so heavily reliant on passing the ball from one side to the other, and it's so pragmatic and boring, kind of how we see with England, where you only worry about possession, but you're not worried about breaking the lines. With the Spain team, it's all about breaking the lines. It's all about just getting in behind, finding those direct balls into your wide wingers like Lamine and Nico Williams, who, I mean, right now this tournament they're having the tournament of their lives, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to completely agree. It's just the Spain team is so good right now, and it's in there. It's one of its best moments that it's been in ever, and they play a lot more direct than that 2010 team did. And I love it. I just want to see how this team ages, how much better they come into the next World Cup. But also, I just want to see how they develop because imagine Lamine Yamal with 2, 3 more years of experience. You know these youngster players that are coming in. I mean, even Nico Williams, his brother, he's pretty good. Iñaki.
Hmm.
So I
I think
mean,
he's already chosen to represent Ghana, so I don't think he's going to represent Spain anymore.
oh, why?
Why? Because he's half Ghanaian. Ghanaian.
He didn't want to like play. I mean, he's good enough to play for Spain.
He is good enough to play for Spain. I don't think he was getting the call up enough call ups though. I think he knows with Ghana he would get more call ups, but I mean that's a completely different conversation. But I mean overall we see that this team has something different than teams of the past, especially in the recent like 5 years specifically. Because we were seeing that tiki taka style become aged out, and a lot of people have been saying that football is evolving, and we see it. I mean, right now, football is definitely evolved. It's become a lot more direct, a lot faster, and I mean, Spain are starting to evolve with that too. And when Spain's evolving, they're always a dangerous team. So definitely a team to look forward to in the next World Cup because give Lamine Yamal 2 more years to grow, give Nico Williams 2 more years to grow, give Pedri 2 more years to grow. These players are going to be in better shape, better form, and who knows, could be at that point considered world class if everything goes right in development. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, an incredible game, bro. An incredible game. Now Spain are in the final, and I'm kind of hoping to see that rematch between Spain and Netherlands, that 2010 World Cup final rematch. I know they still have to play tomorrow, Netherlands and England, but from what I've seen from both teams, I'm probably going to give Netherlands just a slight advantage because overall, as a team, they are a little better versus I think England individually have better names, but I don't know. What do you think right there?
Um, I wouldn't bet on it, but I'd like for the Netherlands to advance. I think they have something to. They'd give a better matchup versus Spain than England would.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that Netherlands would play better than. Oh, well, they will play better than England, but I'm not saying that Netherlands will that are much better than England. I'm just saying that they risk a lot more. They go forward. They propose game. They try to make something happen. They try to score. Whereas England is super safe. It's so boring. And I just wouldn't even. I wouldn't want to watch a final like that where you have a team like England who just sits back a little bit, kind of touches the ball, maintains possession, plays so boring, and doesn't really make anything going forward, which
Mhm.
just so. I mean, lame. It's just so boring. It's they don't propose anything going forward. They don't. They have almost zero creativity. I mean, Southgate's finally changed up his lineup a bit, but it was still pretty much really boring. And at this point, it's just I don't even know how they got to this instance of semifinals. They should have been knocked out in the round of 16, but that's a different topic.
I think a lot of people have been saying with England specifically, with them getting to the semifinals, playing so poorly. Imagine when they do play well, and if they can play well. I mean, we've been saying that the whole tournament. Like, imagine the next game when they if they play well and they get their stuff together, and they really haven't. But I feel like this team is still slowly growing in confidence. The individuals as well, they're probably going to try to step it up since they know they're only 2 games away from winning the whole thing, pretty much. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting game and an interesting matchup tomorrow. Personally, like I said, and like you said too, I think the Netherlands Spain game would be a lot more attractive for a neutral, as we are the neutrals in this instance. I would like to see that because there's a little bit more history there regarding you know or at least recent history, especially that given that 2010 World Cup final. Um, but yeah, I think this is Spain's to win, bro. Overall, like both teams, both Netherlands and both England, don't have nothing compared to what Spain have shown us, and they play the best football in this tournament. And I mean, they proved that in the semifinal, having or in the court in this semifinal and the quarterfinals, knocking out Germany. So
Yeah, completely. And Germany was coming strong. I mean, as even as a home side with a solid squad, performing well, playing well, and I mean, they beat them.
mhm.
So yeah, I mean, the only thing I would hope that can happen is that we get an entertaining final, and I hope that the Netherlands advance, and I hope that England get eliminated because they play so. It's just so unattractive. It's a terrible style. It's super safe. It has zero. You know how Johan Cruyff had total football? It's like Southgate has proposed zero football. It's just nothing.
Yeah, no, it is unfortunate because they have one of the best squads. We've already said it before that they have one of the best squads in all of the tournament, but it's just their style. I think it's the coaching. It's a coaching problem. It's a tactical problem that they're gonna have to fix moving forward, especially if they want to be a contender in the next World Cup. But I mean, overall, like I said, congrats to Spain. Now they're into the final, and very well deserved, honestly. Congrats to Lamine Yamal. I mean, I'm sure he was the player of the match, and well deserved as well. There's no complaints on my side. Lamine Yamal is one of the best youngsters I have seen with my own eyes. It's probably since Neymar too. And Neymar, I was extremely young when Neymar was coming out still. So now that I'm older and I can truly appreciate total football from every angle, from the media, social media, TV, everything, and even live. I mean, what I've seen from this kid is just something completely different. I've never seen in my life, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
So that kind of wraps up everything. I know it's a short pod, but I mean, luckily the game was short today. It ended in the 90 minutes. We didn't have to go to extra time, and there wasn't anything really dramatic going into the end of the match. It was all pretty much in the first half, um, pretty much settled. Um, yeah, thank you guys for listening. Support your small creators. Follow us on our new Instagram and follow us on TikTok, Spotify. We're still working on our Twitter because that got taken down, unfortunately. So we're gonna fix that up real quick. But really, we haven't gotten a lot of content and a lot of engagement on there. So I think we're just gonna keep it on TikTok and Instagram for now until we really start growing. Um, but until next time, thank you guys. Support your small creators because together we make it big. Tomas, appreciate you, bro, as always, for hopping on.
Always.
And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.